it was left with only investigation, we wouldn't have created the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Ghana wanted an independent prosecutor of corruption. That's why his name is not an Office of the Special Investigator and Prosecutor. His name is Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Okay.
That's the major independence we wanted for that office. And so if that is the purpose for the office, and by this arrangement, he must be going to an AG to see. Then we have not really created what we wanted to actually
all right. Okay, Councillor, I'll come back to you. Let me hear from Solo, and I'll give you the time to explain. You are not telling us, this is new. No, yeah.
But what is our coming to explain? It's in there. What is our coming to explain?
Solo, Awal is telling us today, this morning, and you were in the NPP at the same time.
Yes. He wasn't in the NPP at that.
Oh, at the time, he was. Oh, are you sure he was?
He joined later.
Later? Okay. So when you were there, when you were also in the NPP, are you telling us that the reason why the OSP was being created was that the president says, look, we are creating the office so that he could also investigate? Like investigation was the primary reason.
That's
what Awal is
even in the act.
That is not really. That is not the true reason why that office came into being in the first place. Because you see, if you trace the NPP's route back into the 2000s, when he was not even there, when we were doing the real do.
No, I was not even a voter at that time.
So that's the point. So, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I'm only saying, so I stated a fact. Yeah. So, the argument then was that the Attorney General's office would be separated from the Ministry of Justice. That was the argument of the MPP. This business of OSP was just to deal with NDC government appointees. That was it. Because he
officially that wasn't before.
No, but I'm telling you the true intent.
Okay. So you want me to believe you just because you are saying it?
No, by the time I'm done, that's why you have your viewers. Okay. Everyone will make a reason.
You have evidence.
More than. Okay. Martin Amidu had fallen out with the NDC. He was writing a lot of episodes. Remember the Bawumia case here and there. He went to even court to fight as a private legal practitioner and so on and so forth. So the then administration realized that if they were to set up a body like that and bring in Martin Amidu, he could go and persecute. Not prosecute.
Not prosecute?
Persecute the NDC appointees. That was the intent. So you remember in 2017 when they went to Parliament, they went under a certificate of urgency. The first time they laid the bill, it was under a certificate of urgency, flattening all parliamentary procedures. Their minds were averted to it. Some of us in the MPP then said, look, I'm not a lawyer, but look, let me tell you, the Constitution has been written in simple English. It's not ambiguous. Nobody can convince you that. And for the purposes you have been talking about Article 88, somebody sent me a message that what is this Article 884, 884 that you be both. When you say it, you just have to read it to the people so that they understand it. Or is it?
So are you holding the Constitution?
That, I always
okay, yes, okay, read.
So 88.4. All offenses prosecuted in the name of the Republic of Ghana shall be at the suit of the Attorney General or any other person authorized by him, that is the Attorney General, in accordance with any law. This one, you need any superfluous English to understand this. That it is the Attorney General that must lead all prosecutions. So we said that, look, then why don't we amend this portion of the Constitution to allow for flexibility if indeed we really want to guarantee their independence. They said no, and that's why I agree with Sammy that Professor Michael Kwe must be the last person to speak on this matter. Anytime I hear him on this matter, I flare up. Because you see, look, when you go past the age of 50 years, you must never be afraid of anything. All your interests must be is to see to nation building. You understand? You were the Speaker of Parliament. You are a constitutional lawyer, a political scientist.
Yes, very respected. Really.
Very respected. Yes. The number of lectures that he gave to us when we were those days, and you have this before you. Was it because of fear of Nana Akufo Addo?
Oh, Solo.
You're bringing. No, that's the conclusion because what he's doing now.
You're bringing in the.
What he's doing now. Now come to why he's angry now.
So, but you see, if you go back to Sammy's the Hansa he was reading.
No, but it's also clear. That's what I'm saying. That
he was saying. I think at the time he had the idea that once it was being passed by Parliament.
Yes.
Then it's fine. No, that's what he said. Because I also saw.
Oh yes, but he was wrong.
That was the idea.
First of all, that has not been the idea.
Yeah, because he's saying
he knew it.
He's saying to Dominic Ayine that look, we are operating here in Parliament. Once we pass that, and we give the authority.
How could that have sufficed? He knows it, and now his afterwards interviews have even shown that he never believed in the act. So what was haunting him? Why couldn't he man up, look straight at it and say, no, this will not work?
Look at his face and say what?
Look at the president's face. You understand? And tell him, because he was, forget about he being a Speaker of Parliament. He was a member of the MPP and still a member and a senior member for that matter. And a lawyer. So it's not as though he didn't know his law. But he allowed it to be passed. Now fast forward. The office came into being. The office was established in 2018. To deal with what? Corruption and corruption-related offenses. And to recover what? Proceeds. Remember, 2018 to 2021, that was the tenure of Martin Amidu.
Yes.
The Auditor General tells us that the country lost close to 37 billion Ghana cedis through corruption.
Yes.
Nothing was done about it. This is the era of Martin Amidu.
Okay.
The core mandate, this one, it is coming out of audit. That you could go after these people and then make the attempt of recovering the process.
The AG, the Auditor General also has that power to surcharge.
No, but I'm saying that as part of his mandate, these are corruption matters. The AG, the Auditor General is slacking. You're filling the void. He refused or decided, did the lazy job Martin Amidu, and they don't go after them. Now fast forward, he resigned. And when he was resigned, what did he say? He called your president, Akufo Addo, as the mother serpent of corruption. And left. And there came Kennedy Agyapong. Kennedy Agyapong took it from the 37 billion. Then the Auditor General between 2022 to 2024. Remember, Kennedy Agyapong came in 2022. Between 2022 to 2024, this country lost 42.1 billion.
So how is that a problem of Kennedy Agyapong? When you have an Auditor General?
These are low-hanging fruits. The Auditor General has exposed to you. You are being paid that office between 2018.
We are paying the same Auditor General to surcharge.
So why is it that I want to justify to why I have never believed in that office.
Oh, you feel so it's a waste of time?
Total waste of everybody's time. Total waste of everybody's time. Kennedy Agyapong himself had the cause to organize press conferences. In one breath, he tells us that the court is not helping him. Do you remember that?
Yes.
In another breath, he tells us that Ankwanoma or the crab of which soul did you sacrifice for this country? You work with bodyguards.
In Amoka.
Bodyguards. Look, this case that we are talking about.
And that's my point. Are we not jealous of the office?
How can I be jealous of such an office?
Going on?
How can I be jealous?
If you had the opportunity, you would have taken that.
No. If I had the opportunity.
Is the AG not jealous? Because look, the budgetary allocations to that office compared to, could it not be a case of jealousy? The fact that those who are working at the Attorney General's department, look at the OSP people. And including you're all jealous.
I cannot be jealous. I submitted my petition to the OSP, remember? Concerning the pickups against Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia.
Again?
I submitted to him, not even a common courtesy of getting back to me. That matter, have you ever heard being investigated? By the way, the issue that is in court, the Issa Sedu's case, what is it about? You remember what that case is about? When someone imported containers of rice, 10.
Okay, rice.
Issa Sedu and Kekose. You know Kekose? Kekose was a director at the office of the Vice President, Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia. They took that rice and we are told that they shared this rice to people that were fasting. It's a serious matter.
Are you sure about
You have forgotten about this case? In the Issa Sedu case, you don't know it.
So you are bringing in Dr. Bawumia?
No. Kekose was a director at the office of the
office. Yes, but that's a different personality.
So what I'm saying is that, look, this office, from the UP's perspective, and we have said it in our great transformational plan for purposes of this yellow book.
That's it.
We have said in our plan that to assure a true independent body, all the anti-corruption agencies
should be merged into one. So you support the constitutional review?
Absolutely. Okay. And then we appoint an anti-corruption czar and amend Article 88 to assure them or guarantee them of that true independence. And we are even going further to say that there is a need for a second chamber of parliament. And what that chamber will be doing, because if the argument is that the Attorney General is appointed by the President, of course, who appoints the OSP? The reason why we say that the Attorney General's office is not independent, but it is the President that also appoints the OSP. So we are saying that such appointments must be done by the second chamber, comprising of former CDS, IGPs.
Can the Council of State simply do that?
The Council of State, you know, the political appointments in there. You understand? So we believe in the second chamber. But until then, as it is right now, I believe that if this is how the OSP is behaving, then it is better we push all those resources to the Attorney General's office and make them efficient.
So why can't the AG just give the authorization?
But even if they give, the man must go for it. Look, at the point, we were told that by Sammy that, you know, all this while we were talking about Ken Ofori Atta, the impression has been created that the extradition orders have even been given to the Attorney General until Sammy came and said that multiple requests. These were the words used by Sammy. The man was not budging. What is his interest? But let me tell this administration, if they don't know day, they must look at night. One of the reasons they won election 2024 was corruption. If they are going to rely on this OSP, an OSP who goes to court with 78 charges, by the time we are done with 10 charges, it's 13 years as a clue. Then they will be eating.
I don't want us to be speculative. Okay, you know what I'll do? I want to come to Dr. Sammy and then Awal before Council. Maybe some of you have questions for him. But let's do this. There are some brief tapes that we have of the OSP himself and then Haruna Idrisu at the time, who was minority.
Haruna was right.
Yeah, he also raised some.
He raised it.
So let's watch that briefly, and then I'll come back to Dr. Sammy and Awal. Then we open up for questions. Probably some of you have questions for Council. Yeah, let's watch that now.
Title for our purposes is when you say prosecute these offences on the authority of the Attorney General. Which Attorney General? Where then is the independence that you promise? We will say that the appointing authority, the President shall appoint the special prosecutor or a special counsel as it is in other jurisdictions with the prior approval of Parliament, and probably even further recommend with 2/3 majority, so that the person is a strong personality who is subject not just to executive nomination but prior approval of Parliament. We also must strongly recommend that an addition to the remit of the office of the special prosecutor must be recommendations of Parliament based on the Public Accounts Committee report, so that the leakages, misappropriation, embezzlement also can directly be punished by the special prosecutor. What is even more important in the long title for our purposes?
Its mandate directly from Article 88 of the Constitution, and that article is the one that vests the prosecutorial powers of the state in an Attorney General. Now, do you envisage a situation whereby the functions of the special prosecutor would conflict with the functions of the Attorney General, given the fact that these are functions largely derived from the constitutional powers bestowed on the Attorney General?
How things should properly go. There was the concern of this friction between the Attorney General and the OSP under Act 959. because of the way Article 88 has been couched. Because it gives all prosecutorial powers to the Attorney General. But then, by way of delegation, the Attorney General can delegate a person or institution to carry on prosecutions. So what the draftsman did in Act 959 is a sort of taking that discretion and that Article 88 from the Attorney General, putting it in Act 959 and saying that the OSP can prosecute on the authority of the Attorney General. It is stated in the Act. And so by that formulation, from the onset in the Act, the OSP already has the authority of the Attorney General because Parliament has said so. But that will not end the story if more delineation is not done. So it appears tenuously, but the draftsman also tried to do something in Act 959 by specifying the offenses the OSP can investigate, can initiate and conduct prosecutions in respect of. That is corruption and corruption-related offenses. There is a problematic one, the last one, which says existent offenses in relation.
Okay, so that's from the SP himself. Okay, before Dr. Let me come to Yawa.
So you see,
he acknowledges that indeed there's some more work to be done.
Yes.
Is that not lending credence to what counsel is saying?
That will be determined when the Supreme Court sits on his case. You understand? Today, as we speak, the reason for this discussion is as a result of the work that someone had done in the High Court, and there is an order. We're saying that if this government is truly interested in the fight against corruption, they should write the authorization for him to do that, so that the rest of the case on authorization, whether there is authorization or not, should be determined by the Supreme Court in Noah's case. That is one. Two is that, you see, when you listen to Martin Amidu's his veteran,
yes,
he mentioned it severally that he is not interested in only prosecution people. He's interested in
we can't take the intent of the bill. We can't take the intent of the bill from Martin Amidu, who was an appointee. The idea should come from government and the NPP.
In his veteran.
Yes.
In our case, we said we want to prevent corruption.
Yes.
Not necessarily incarcerate people. Wait until the person goes.
How do you deter corruption?
One is that if you check Section 28 of the OSP Act, it gives him the police powers. Section 29 gives him the powers to seek every information that he wants. Section 31, seizure, and Section 38, asset freeze.
So why are you calling it Office of the Special Prosecutor then?
That's why I'm saying that. There are there's only one limitation to his work, and the limitation is the prosecution.
And I'm telling you
how he can even still be independent, because you see, the Act mandates him. The office holder
to investigate. That'll be the end of it, isn't it?
No, not that. To tell the people of this country every quarter that I have done this investigation, and this is the conclusion, but I am yet to go to court.
So I'm asking you, what will be the effect? What will be the effect if I can investigate, I can do all the checks, and yet I can't prosecute?
It helps in curbing corruption, because tomorrow, if he comes to arrest me, and he start giving updates on what I do, even if I am not guilty, it serves as a deterrent to someone. That is one. Two is that, you see, when you check the Act in itself, the appointment of the special prosecutor, the Act says that he is to be nominated by the Attorney General. He and his deputies are to be nominated by the Attorney General for the president to appoint, then there will be a parliamentary approval.
Does that imply that that's automatic warrant? It's not a warrant.
No, it's not. It's not. I mentioned
my point.
No, even my point. If you listen to me, if you listen to me clearly, I said there is nothing wrong with the law.
Yes. But how
I'm coming. But you will not allow me. You will not allow me.
I want you to understand.
You have to allow me.
I want you to understand my question so that you can come in. I'm saying that. Then how different is the OSP now, as we are calling it, from say Yoko, the Ghana Police Service? You have customs. There are some other. Yes. So how did you convince us that what you were establishing at the time was, it was relevant? There was something unique about it.
So I told you that they have several powers. And one of the powers is prosecution.
Yes.
And Martin Amidu, in his vetting, said he was not interested in witch hunting, going to prosecute people. He is interested in the preventive aspect of the work that he's supposed to do. By naming, shaming, and telling people that this is where I have gotten to. That's why I said that. This one, if you even leave the law the way it is, he needs authorization. But he has to do his whole investigation. In the course of the investigation, he's supposed to tell the people of this country, I've started this investigation. I've gotten to this stage. Now it is left with prosecution. I will send the letter for authorization so that if the AG decline that thing, Ghanaians will get to know. And when you check the architecture, when you check the board of the OSP, it has institutional representation, police service and others, to tell you that indeed we want to see some semblance of autonomy, at least if nothing else.
So was that what you communicated to the people of Ghana?
Yes, but you see, Article 88 is the limitation. That's why when we said we'll do a special prosecutor, we could have really put it before the people of this country that we want to really amend that so that there will be a referendum to amend it. We couldn't do that. We were in a hurry to create it because we wanted to really create that office to be able to fight corruption. When you say we picked Martin Amidu. Martin Amidu is an independent-minded person. You remember when he started the Wyoming case? When he started, he wanted to use either prosecute by Betty Mould or use her as a prosecution witness. And they prevented him from doing that. And that was one of the reasons he was, they used
I'm saying
Empire and Democrat to really attack him. And that was how he was removed. So it was not really for us to go and witch hunt anyone.
Yes.
If that was the case, why didn't we use some of our lawyers?
So for 8 years.
Aremeyaw Anas's lawyer.
Okay, yes. But
we used Anas's lawyer when Anas was in a collision course with some of our people. But we used his lawyer as the OSP.
Okay, but I'm saying to
you, we gave him the leeway to operate to the extent that Minister of State was removed because of his investigation.
Well, I'm saying that why is it that for the last 8 years, you knew that that challenge had existed, yet we didn't make any attempt as a country to just...
You see, before the law was even passed, the challenge had been there. Because that what you played from Haruna Idrisu was after it was even passed. That the challenge is that if he goes for authorization, it doesn't make him that independent that you want. But we are saying that there are other aspects that he's independent in, that is not under the control of the AG. Even though the AG will nominate him for appointment, he can do his investigations unfitted. He can also do freezing of assets without the AG. Right. The only thing is that if he goes for authorization, the AG could file nolle prosequi. That's the reason the AG still wants this to happen, so that if he's to arrest anyone within the government, he can go and file nolle prosequi, as he has done, because this is the only AG that we know that can file nolle prosequi on cases to the tune of 7 billion Ghana cedi. To the extent that today, when he told us that someone came to him that he wanted to do a plea bargain, he gave him 40%. He said pay 60 and take the 40% because he's an NDC man. Today he's not even telling us whether that thing has even been recovered. The 60% has not been recovered. Senor went to the AG's office through the right information. As I speak right now, the AG does not even know whether the 60% has been recovered because he's not interested in that. So he wants to really get hold of the office of the special prosecutor so that you could file
authorization
against the NDC.
To be given or to be taken. Which one?
Give the authorization today.
For me, I'm currently waiting for the Supreme Court ruling. The matter is in court.
No.
And I cannot.
That's not in
further. Master, what you were talking about?
That's not in discussion. We are discussing the High Court.
When we are doing, you have spoken. Nobody interjected.
You are 4-1.
Who is the
3-1? Sorry. 3.
Are we playing matches here? We are discussing.
3-1.
So many people here.
Then 3-1 here on the panel.
Can you imagine?
No, on the panel 3-1.
Be clearly, I'm not really. I'm waiting for the matter to be adjudicated in court. I'm surprised that today our finds solace in press briefings of OSP. When Dr. Ine was doing the same thing last year, they were complaining. You see, that's the double.
I destroyed the program.
It's really It's in his law that he has to do periodic. So Aine is not buying.
Was agreeable to some of us.
Talking about something I have said.
But why wouldn't you talk about what I said?
But you know the things he said that I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
Okay.
You can say so. Really, bless.
Let him now. He'll get the time. Yeah.
It is incontrovertible fact that the idea the MPP used to create the OSP was a witch hunting idea. It was a ploy and a plan to find a way of tarnishing the image of the NDC by putting in place all manner of fake, charges against NDC appointees. Indeed, no less a person than the President Mahama himself was investigated by OSP.
Yeah.
He actually said that he has availed himself, all his appointees should avail themselves for any prosecutorial process.
Where's your evidence?
President Mahama said it.
Where's your evidence?
Between 2017 and 2020, he himself was investigated.
Yes.
He himself and cleared.
Is that what
you understand? I'm saying that the idea for creation of the office was to hunt NDC people. But when
you see, hold on. To get from
but when
that proof that
but it is clear they went and picked somebody who publicly had issues with NDC people. You understand? And the true questions they went about all the legal processes that they needed to create the OSP. Today, the office has been there for 8 years, more than 8 years. But can you tell me whether the OSP's office has been able to live up to expectations?
That's what Awa was saying earlier.
If he was delivering,
yes.
I believe Awa here will be defending him.
Yes. Because he will
you understand?
You see, they have not been able to deliver. That is why all these arguments have been able to fester. You understand? Okay. But me, I'm happy that we are where we are today. That as politicians and as leaders, we must have genuine intentions in whatever we do. We must not allow politics to override the genuineness of whatever we do. Today, the office that was much touted is now struggling to even prosecute any major case.
Don't you see that staring you in the face?
So I'm saying that.
Is that not staring you in the face?
They have been given. I'm saying that they have been given. In fact, the president himself has.
The president says don't dissolve the office.
The president is the major vanguard of the office.
I get that, yeah.
And he has demonstrated it beyond that.
So why not?
So I'm saying that the law is the law. The law says that I get authorization. If the Supreme Court says that the authorization might be in the form of he applying and he giving.
I'm asking you that where is the law? Where did the law say?
But the law is clear. It is clear.
The law
you must be authorized.
That it must be emanating from the
relax. The AGs of the OSP's office must apply for authorization.
Why? Why can't government?
Because the president says.
But the president says, go ahead and work. I support your office. So let's grant the authority. That's why I'm asking that.
I'm saying that. This matter that has brought all this conversation is a matter that started a long time ago. I don't know why this authorization.
So I'm asking you, why can't the government simply just give the authorization?
But the government, the Deputy Attorney General has spoken for the government. He says that they are willing to give the authorization.
So just give
it. So the OSP should come. No,
just give it.
He should come. He should come for authorization. Why shouldn't he come?
So you know, so you see where you are blackmailing.
No, we are not blackmailing anybody. Nobody is blackmailing anybody. Unless the OSP has come to tell you that
authorization,
or unless
then we wait for no
as for you people have no moral right to discuss this matter.
Why?
So I'm asking you now.
You have no moral right to discuss
you are supposed to help him work. You are not helping him.
I'm saying that the laws are clear.
Okay.
The laws are clear that he has to come for it. He should go for it.
All right. You know what? We'll probably have some few questions for counsel, so he provides some legal education as well. But probably you want to deal with that for us briefly. So I'll come to you. The aspect of where the authorization should be emanating from, does it have to come from the OSP, or government can also give it? Because it's not clear in the law there. That's what Awala has been saying. That look, just grant him the authority, and that's it.
I think there are two responses to that, and I'm gleaning one from everything that has happened.
Yes.
Right. If the OSP is posturing, you see, authorization by the AG means something. The AG is authorizing you. You are the AG's agent. Right.
Yes.
That means the AG exercises oversight over you. Right. And so, in the mind of the OSP, we have to also look at the OSP's conduct to glean what is the psyche of the OSP. The OSP does not believe that he should be dependent on the AG. Okay. So that's what the.
But he hasn't said that. He acknowledges, even from the time of the vetting, that he would have to be reliant, or deal with the AG.
No, but what we're saying
to him,
the OSP said explicitly that issue has been addressed by Parliament.
Okay.
You get it? So the OSP doesn't think that he has to actually go for any authorization. And let me say this, the OSP is actually prosecuting some people. If the OSP ever believed he needed authorization, he would have applied for it a long time ago. All these years. You get it? So when I listened to what Sremsai said on your program yesterday, he mentioned that because of the posturing of the OSP, that he doesn't need authorization.
Yes.
How are you then going to be the one to proceed to say, I have written a fiat for you, go ahead to prosecute?
That will undermine his own.
The person thinks I don't need your authorization. So in that circumstance, the way to go is simply for the OSP now that the court has spoken.
But if it's about prosecution, the AG can just give that. He doesn't need to apply for it.
No, but you know that you need it for your work. You are an institution created to investigate and prosecute.
You go for it?
And you need authorization. Are you saying that if the AG is not giving it to you, you are going to sit down and then wait until... No. So you must see that from the OSP that I've written to you, I want the authorization.
Then if it's not given, that's when we have grounds to say.
Yes, exactly.
But if he is to do that tomorrow, like by Monday.
Are you working with
this? No, I'm saying that if he is to really do that.
No.
I said he's incompetent. He must be removed for anyone to come and take over. But if he's to do that,
and please be brief when you're asking the question, and let it be strictly around what we are saying here.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My own is a contribution. I think that the office of the special prosecutor should not be subservient or legal impotent to the office of the Attorney General. Because I see it from 1992 till now. I see the Attorney General to be a mouthpiece or agent of government. There's no way that if an appointee is under the government that it works for, somebody has done something against the state in terms of financial malfeasance or any corruption, the Attorney General would want to take up the matter very seriously. Because it will think that when they do that, it will tarnish the image of the government, and which in the end will let them lose an election.
So you feel that independence must be guaranteed, but that will mean we need a referendum.
Yes. So if there's anything that is preventing the office of the special prosecutor from doing their work, we should amend the constitution.
Wow. Okay. Maybe. Let's see if you any clarity that you want. Yeah, please draw the microphone closer. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, so we can.
For the fight against corruption or the rule of law, and moreover, I want to ask, what message is it sending to the specialized agencies like the local GRO under the delegated authority?
Just go ahead.
Delegated authority. So right now, is the president going to issue an executive instrument or the special prosecutor's office is going to be specialized or in a special form.
Okay, so that's what you want to find out from Dr. Ayer, whether or not they want to.
Your question.
Council is here, so council.
Yes. Okay. So thank you. Yes. So my question is that what happens with GRA, Yoko and Co? Do they periodically apply for authorization for the executive instruments to be issued? And if yes or no, I want to know what is the lifespan of an executive instrument. Is it eternal, so to speak, or it is time bound? Because I want to know to be able
how
to.
Come you mean how come the police, for instance, and the other?
Yes, have those authorizations. Are they given by application? And if yes, for what lifespan are they supposed to exist?
I think there's a gentleman behind. Yes, okay, we'll do that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. To me, I think our political class are actually making, fun of us to the extent that they always speak about the political will to fight corruption. But yes, still, we don't see that in their actions and their doing. But then, in all this, we need these institutions to fight corruption. So if we really want to do so, and we actually need the Office of the Special Prosecutor to function and function well, I want to have some kind of legal education. Is it really difficult to make the office independent on constitutional grounds? That is my question. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Mine is a contribution too. So I think that it is too late now for the OSP to be dissolved because a lot of Ghanaians have invested their interest in that office. And
state resource has also gone there.
Yes, and I vehemently oppose that notion. In fact, I've always asked myself, when the OSP came out to say he's coming to do his part, and when he's done, then he will leave because of the pressure that was mounting on him at that time. Have we really asked ourselves what was the situation that he was in? Is it that he's trying to do his work and there are maybe forces bigger than him that were opposing him at the time? And I think that the OSP has proven to be relevant because they've been consistent, even though they've not worked to the satisfaction of the good people of Ghana.
You feel they haven't met our expectations?
I just think that they can do more, and if they are given the opportunity, I'm sure they can deliver to as well. And one other thing is that I think there are too many corrupt cases for the Attorney General alone to solve. Let's give the mandate to OSP and let's see. We've invested a lot of interest in that office, and it is too late for us to.
So should this current one, out of, and I don't want to use the word humility, if you're not, the power is not being given to you, why wouldn't you just apply for it? I think that's what Council was asking earlier. Just to show that I'm willing indeed, yes.
Look, I think it is high time we try to depoliticize the OSP as the office. I think there's a lot of politicization, and that is one key factor that is affecting their function. And one critical question I want to ask is that, even after some members of parliament raised some questions prior to the establishment of the office, yet the office was established. So is it that it was intentionally created and then some loopholes were kept in, so that after it was done serving that purpose, then they can raise that loopholes and then they can quash or dissolve.
So you're agreeing with Solo now?
Yes. That's a critical question.
So let me come to you before you go. That's a question he's asking. What the point you are raising?
Right from the beginning, everyone knew that he was going to have a challenge in terms of authority. He was not independent right from the beginning.
Why are you all speculating that indeed the Eswell administration wanted to use it?
But go and listen to why. Every OSP has a tenure of 7 years. Martin Amidu was appointed when? 2018. So his tenure was to end when? 2025. Why do you think he terminated his midway? He gave the reason that in the matter of a Japan royalties deal, you remember when they wanted to go and mortgage our gold royalties, the president, Akufo Addo, attempted to intervene in that investigation. It was after that he said, I'm no more interested in this whole office. That is correct. Everything is not correct.
That's not correct.
So clearly, they didn't set up that office to as it were, go and prosecute or investigate any corruption and corruption-related offense. Either than that, half of the Eswal administration would have been behind bars. Would have been behind bars. Because the corruptions were so clear.
So why are you not attacking the AG for not giving the power right now? He could give that.
Yes, no, but how can an AG give power when he has not been when the power has not been requested? Do we go about giving power to anybody? Let the OSP go and say that, and in the case, you can't give a blanket authorization. It must be case specific. You understand? If you are taking a frivolous case to court, which can lead to the state losing money. Remember, if you are going to court, it does not mean the state will always win. The state can lose, and that you will be made to pay judgment debt. So
right now, I think in the High Court case, 15,000, right?
Yeah. So that 15,000, who is going to pay?
You pay it.
I am going to pay.
Yeah, you pay.
Because of so seriousness. I'm not going to do that. You understand?
But it's just 15K.
Yeah, it's just 15K. You know how much this morning I'm not eating. I'm going to give you.
Oh, so you are eating.
Since this morning I'm eating. Maybe after I'm going to see your money.
Okay.
So that is how we must look at all these things and do what is right.
Dr. Ayes here, so
yeah,
don't worry.
Dr. Ayes. Maybe I have to find somebody and give it to him.
Okay, all right. Okay. Okay. Council.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.